Hello, welcome to our webinar on how Trimono gains reliable backup and recovery on AWS with Veritas. My name is Sabina Joseph, Group Leader for Global Partner Segments at Amazon Web Services. I will be your host and moderator for this webinar. When you joined today's webinar, you selected to join either by phone or computer audio. If you want to change your audio selection, you can do so by accessing your audio in the control panel. From this control panel, you can also submit questions by typing the questions in the chat box. We will collect your questions and answer as many as we can during the Q&A session. At the end of this event is a brief survey. Please stay connected all the way to the end and provide us your feedback, as your opinion matters to us. Today's webinar will be available on SlideShare plus on YouTube, and it will be sent to you in email 3 to 4 days after the end of the event. Please keep an eye out on the email address that you use to register for this webinar. Again, welcome to today's live webinar. In addition to hearing about AWS, you will hear from Miko at Veritas and from Miguel Experience, IT Director from Trimono, our joint customer. Today, we are going to learn about data protection, backup, and recovery. Backup and recovery at many times, it's not something we all think about actively, and it gets prioritized at the bottom of the list. It is like insurance. Nobody really thinks about it, but we absolutely need it. However, when customers are talking about moving your workload and data to the cloud, it is something that you start thinking about, including things like deduplication and compression capabilities, including management of your backup and recovery processes in a hybrid environment. When we talk with our customers, AWS customers tend to highlight three main problem areas on-prem. Hence, when they are taking their workloads to the cloud and using AWS for data protection. The first main challenge is because they are CapEx-based, deployments are slow and complicated. Yes, these are relative, but in the cloud and on AWS, deployments are very quick. You turn on an instance, you can procure storage immediately. Whereas in an on-prem environment, you first need to order something, wait for it to arrive, take delivery, schedule install it after ensuring it gets architected the right way. All of this has dependencies on various processes and organizations. Customers have told us this is slow and complex. The second challenge is security, compliance, and auditability are difficult, tough to achieve in a small volume versus a high volume environment like AWS based purely on efficiency. The last challenge, as customers do not want to build, deploy, and maintain on-prem hardware for data protection. They are moving from a CapEx to an OpEx model. They want to have utility-based pricing. The building blocks within AWS that everybody uses is pretty much the same. From a storage perspective, let's talk about the various options. You have Amazon EFS, simple, scalable, elastic file storage for use with AWS cloud services and on-prem resources. Amazon Elastic Block Store, EBS, provides persistent block storage volumes for use with Amazon EC2 instances in the AWS cloud. Amazon S3 is object storage, built to store and retrieve any amount of data from anywhere: websites, mobile applications, corporate applications, and data from IoT sensors or devices. Amazon S3 Standard Infrequent Access, S3 Standard IA, is an Amazon S3 storage class for data that is accessed less frequently but requires rapid access when needed. Amazon Glacier is a secure, durable, and extremely low-cost cloud storage service for data archiving and long-term backup. When you think about tape, you think about Amazon Glacier. At the bottom are various data transfer options and some pertinent ones as related to today's discussion. AWS Direct Connect makes it easy to establish a dedicated network connection from your on-prem environment to AWS. AWS Snowball is a petabyte-scale data transport solution that uses devices designed to be secure to transfer large amounts of data in and out of AWS. And finally, and most importantly, are partner solutions. Partner solutions such as Veritas, BackupExec, and NetBackup have integrated to Amazon S3. As AWS constantly innovates, there are going to be areas where our partners are deeper experts in. Customers may be already using these partner solutions such as Veritas and want to continue to use it on AWS. Hence, these partner solutions enable seamless movement of workload and data. The way we do this is providing a suite of partner solutions that integrate across our services and, in the case of data protection, across our storage services. We work with our partners on these integrations so customers can focus on your own internal requirements rather than thinking about how has the partner integrated on AWS. You can also apply additional encryption policies, and in many cases, the partner is already using the AWS security best practices. AWS is easy to maintain, no need to worry about how patches get deployed on hardware, procuring hardware is no longer needed, and our services are fully managed and easily scalable. And we do all of this at very low cost, very cost efficient through a utility-based pricing model. We work with our partners to ensure that we bring the AWS value and many of the features that you are utilizing on-prem into the partner solutions on AWS, making it easily configurable, deployable, highly available, with different types of backup and much more. The key is ensuring that the features you are using on-prem is what you experience with the partner solutions on AWS, plus the AWS services and value. For the purposes of today, the things that you will be hearing fall into the top block of the AWS Shared Responsibility model. The shared responsibility model is basically where AWS draws the line between what we are responsible for and what you are responsible for. Yes, the top block might look longer than the AWS block. However, the AWS block does have everything associated to the data center that you may be doing today. The customer responsibilities in the top block are further strengthened by our partners. We work with our partners to implement a strong integration with AWS using best practices. So in many cases, the customers will be working with our partners to share in the top block. We are grateful to our partners in following our best practices and helping our customers. These security tools are incredibly powerful. Of note, we have virtual private cloud, the ability to logically isolate your resources in a virtual network that you define. The key management service, the ability to encrypt your data in the cloud, and if you choose to bring your own encryption key. These are the compliance standards, certifications, and attestations that AWS has globally. We've helped thousands of enterprises, and these are just a sample of them. These are well-known brands. It is very difficult to find a Fortune 100 or a Fortune 500 customer who is not already running at least one workload on AWS. I'm sure there are many customers on this list who are Veritas customers, given the market presence of Veritas globally. We have a long-standing and deep partnership with Veritas across multiple use cases, backup and recovery being one of them. With that, I'd like to introduce Miko, who I have known since I started at AWS. He has a long history with Veritas and BackupExec. Take it away, Miko.
Thank you, Sabina. And hi there, everybody. My name is Miko. I'm a product manager at Veritas for BackupExec, and I will take you through the AWS integration details for Veritas BackupExec. So let me start with just going through the challenges in today's IT environments. So as mentioned by Sabina, AWS has a shared responsibility model where AWS manages the infrastructure stack and the customer manages the operating system layer and above. So what could happen on the operating system layer and above? Do you ever wonder why terms like mean time between failures were coined? It's because disasters are not a question if they happen, but when they happen. Any downtime with business-critical resources can have immediate negative consequences in today's 24/7 connected global economy. So here are a couple of examples again on different categories. Errors and failure. We can have user errors, failure, and loss. So human error has consistently been the biggest area of concern for organizations when it comes to data loss. People will always be error-prone. Operating systems can also experience failures, databases can get corrupted, and unless you have completely migrated your infrastructure to an infrastructure as a service, you will also experience hardware failures as all mechanical parts wear out eventually. On external threats, the landscape has been really active in the past couple of years. We have new ransomware, we have disasters and theft. So the number of ransomware attacks overall has been more than doubling every year. Majority of organizations experienced a ransomware attack in 2017. WannaCry and Petya are just two examples of ransomware variants that were visible last year. Organizations impacted by ransomware attacks are constantly in the news, reporting costs of tens of millions of dollars. Another external threat is natural disasters, such as hurricanes, tornadoes, earthquakes, flooding, and fires, just to name a few. Here in Florida, where I live, hurricanes are very common, and they're causing widespread damage, like was the case with Hurricane Irma last year. And then there's theft. A laptop is stolen every 53 seconds, and 52% of devices are stolen from office or workplace, 24% from conferences. I've actually got that personal experience also on this topic, having my laptop stolen just a couple of months ago. And luckily, all my data was easily available from the cloud. Then we have compliance and regulation, privacy, recoverability, accountability. Most people probably have heard by now of the General Data Protection Regulation, GDPR, that just took effect a few weeks ago, introducing new privacy and accountability requirements for organizations. And another example is the payment card industry's data security standard, PCI DSS, that payment card industry mandates as a requirement for organizations leveraging their platforms. And of course, there's others like HIPAA, Sarbanes-Oxley, SOC, and FINRA. And then there are the business impact. So everything has a cost, whether it's downtime cost, whether it's lost business, anything else. There's a cost from the infrastructure side, operational side, expertise side. And then there's risk that comes with the lack of visibility, regulations, best practices, and exposure on recoverability, innovation, vulnerability. So there's a lot of different things to keep in mind when looking at today's IT environments and what can go wrong. So we did a survey in late last year with Veritas, and we commissioned it for around 900 people. And these are the findings from last year's survey. So first of all, data is gathered across complex and diverse storage options. And without a proper data management solution, this can be really time-consuming, complex, and costly. Cloud storage use is growing even faster than predicted by respondents in the previous year's survey. And organizations are waking up to the serious financial and reputational risks posed by non-compliance with data privacy regulations like GDPR. Ransomware is feared more than any other attack, and many fail to recover lost data even when the ransom has been paid. And physical systems overall, if you look at these diagrams, physical systems still dominate for now, but they will be displaced by cloud, driven by the shift of data loads over the next 3 years. So we can see physical systems representing 43% today, or last year, 35% virtual, 22% cloud-based. And you can see in 3 years, cloud is rising by far the fastest, and physical systems are dropping from 43 to 35%. So cloud is really taking the lead here. So let's talk about what Veritas can offer here. So BackupExec provides unified data protection for AWS-based and on-premises workloads. So it's a solution that really covers the all environments in a way that we provide visibility across physical, virtual, and cloud. And it's a trusted and proven solution with an intuitive, simple user experience overall that anybody can use. We have over 2.2 million customers in 200 countries that have trusted BackupExec to protect more than 65 exabytes of data. And really the major motion or need on customer side is eliminating tape. A lot of people are looking at cloud as the first initial step for replacing tape overall in their environments, to reduce the capital expenditures, just moving to an OpEx model overall, and improving visibility across their environments on having everything automated and having a predictable recovery point objective and recovery time objective. We have our solution available on premises. You can just do regular installations, and we're also available on the AWS Marketplace. So you can also deploy BackupExec from the AWS Marketplace. So here's a little bit of a deep dive into the architecture and how we operate with AWS. So BackupExec is a proven and trusted solution with a simple user experience, a large breadth and width of supported platforms and solutions. BackupExec AWS integration was designed to follow the AWS well-architected framework, and that enables us to work well with AWS. BackupExec protects your data on premises and also in EC2, in Elastic Cloud Compute. And here in the diagram, on the top, I have the on-premises environment. And when you go downwards, on the bottom, we have the EC2 example environment. So you can install BackupExec on premises or in EC2. And we have integration with the object storage. So whether you use Amazon S3, Amazon S3 infrequent access, or if you have AWS GovCloud as well, we support those with the native connectors we have that provide encrypted data in rest and also in flight. So independent on if your data is at rest or in flight, it's always encrypted with AES 256 and FIPS 140-2 compliant encryption. We support also direct-to-cloud and disk-to-cloud backups, which means that you can have the best of both worlds. You can have a local recovery for any immediate access and immediate restores, and you can then have a copy created and sent to cloud automated, so you don't have to manage media on your tapes or anything else. Everything is automated and agile, and you only pay for the use of the storage. There's nothing to provision in beforehand, so it's really keeping everything simple. We support Glacier through the AWS Storage Gateway VTL. So on the right side, you can see here the AWS Storage Gateway, and that can directly back up to a VTL, which is based on Amazon S3, or which is a virtual tape library based on Amazon S3, or virtual tape shelf VTS, which is based on Amazon Glacier. So you have all the different storage options available for you. We also have something called optimized duplication. So if you have a BackupExec server on premises and another one in EC2, you can actually do global deduplicated replication across the on-premises and EC2 BackupExec server instances. And we're available, as mentioned in the previous slide, from the AWS Marketplace. So you can deploy the images directly from the AWS Marketplace, or you can do installation from the ISO image themselves. So, of course, BackupExec is only one of the solutions in the Veritas portfolio, and that has an extensive integration with AWS. So Veritas and AWS have a long-standing relationship, and Veritas covers all the 4 major use cases for AWS Cloud: backup, disaster recovery, migration, and primary storage. And you can see the solutions here. We have BackupExec, NetBackup. We also have a cloud-native snapshot-based solution, CloudPoint, and on the backup side. And on the disaster recovery, we have the Veritas Resiliency Platform. And on the migration, Cloud Mobility, primary storage, InfoScale, and Access. And just behind them are some of the integration points that we're leveraging with these different solutions in AWS. So Veritas is also, of course, channel friendly, and the solutions are available through our channel partner network. And you might have your existing preferred reseller, or you can connect with any of our available reseller partners for further information. Here are some of them listed. And before I transition, I'd just like to recap the AWS and Veritas value of the partnership and the combined solutions. So Veritas and AWS have a strong partnership and provide solutions leveraged by joint customers globally, backing up petabytes of data into AWS. Together, we can provide improved operational efficiencies for cloud-based data protection, and the combined solution helps to meet your security and compliance requirements. And with the partnership, we have the agility to meet your evolving unique data management needs. So with this, I would like to transition over to Miguel to take us through his experiences using the combined solutions. Take it away, Miguel.
Thank you, Miko. Hi, I'm Miguel Prudente, IT Director for Trimono, and I will talk about my experience working with AWS and Veritas BackupExec and why we've chosen this solution. So Trimono has 17 years of experience and provides commercial and industrial electrical projects and installations, as well as network installations, safety equipment, IP video surveillance systems, and building automation technologies. We are located in the Lisbon metropolitan area in Portugal, with branches on the north and south of Portugal. Our typical clients are shopping malls, supermarkets, stores, and hotels. Over 10 years ago, and after our only server at the time had an incident that took us over 1 week to recover, we've came to the realization that the solution we were using for backup was inadequate. We had trouble restoring the server as some of the backups were corrupted and had to pay for specialized data restore software. As the solution we had at the time didn't ensure data integrity, we chose BackupExec because from my experience, BackupExec was a very good backup and disaster recovery solution that could ensure data integrity and a fast disaster recovery. This has been proven over the years with multiple file restores and 2 successful disaster recoveries at Trimono. As Trimono grew, so grew the amount of data we had to backup. We started backing up to an external USB drive on site and used backup to tape for offsite data. And we had to physically rotate the tapes and move them out to the offsite location. As the amount of data we had to backup grew, we've had to buy more and bigger external USB drives and swap the tapes for USB external drives for offsite backups as well. We've used data encryption enabled via BackupExec for the offsite backups. And restoring from offsite location meant I had to go to the offsite location, bring back the USB external drives, mount the drives, search them for the backup I was trying to recover from, and it will take at least 2 hours before the recovery process was started, and meant I needed to be at the location to do it. The process had too much manual intervention, from external media rotation to the backup job itself, that needed to be started manually for the offsite jobs. And I had just a tiny window every week that I could use to back up to the offsite external media drives. Moving to Amazon Web Services Cloud enabled us to move to a fully automated process and never worry if we have space on the offsite media for the backups to run successfully. So this diagram represents the backup architecture we had before moving our offsite backups to AWS. We had 2 physical servers, main one with file server, Active Directory, and Exchange, and another as an application server and SQL server. We've had to manage 2 different backup solutions, backing up those 2 servers to external USB drives. For offsite, we've had to physically move the external drives to an offsite location for safekeeping. We had to manually start the backups for the offsite drives and manage the rotation of drives. If we ever needed to restore, it will take me many hours to bring back the external drives, mount them, search them for the backup that I needed to recover from, and then starting the restore job that had the speed limited because of USB 2.0. So we wanted to improve, and our goals were to simplify the overall backup process by consolidating multiple products we used for backups to an unified backup solution that would enable us to manage everything from a single console. We wanted to free up resources by maximizing automation and minimizing manual tasks so that only the restore jobs would be done manually. We wanted to improve the restore time objective to minimize risk of downtime. We wanted to be able to start recovery jobs even from outside the company via VPN, so that I could start a restore job from wherever I was. We also wanted to leverage the benefits of cloud, moving to a pay-as-we-go solution so that we wouldn't need to worry about the amount of space we had left on our external drives. And we wanted to be able to recover directly to the cloud if a big disaster happened and we lost our servers. We also wanted to improve the reliability of our offsite backups, eliminating the possibility of losing an external drive or having one fail. So why did we choose Veritas, BackupExec, and Amazon Web Services? Because the BackupExec solution enabled us to use only one solution for backup and disaster recovery for all the servers and pay only one license, which is based on the amount of data we have to backup. We were able to install and configure everything in 30 minutes and have a single console to manage all the backups. We just needed to install one backup server and one agent for each server we wanted to backup. BackupExec has an high-performance connector to AWS S3 storage that enabled us to backup to the cloud directly or duplicating the local stored backup to the cloud. BackupExec enabled us to secure our data with encryption for local and cloud backups. And we chose Amazon Web Services because we can rely on AWS secure infrastructure and AWS reliability for the service and for the data integrity and redundancy that AWS S3 provides. Using AWS S3 storage, we can now access our offsite backups faster with consistent speed, reliably recover the data, and when we tried other clouds, AWS was the faster and more reliable that we've tried. So now we have 5 servers, 2 physical and the rest running onto vSphere. We use one virtual machine for the BackupExec server and backup everything to a network-attached storage unit for quick local restores with offsite copies automatically sent to Amazon S3. We do incremental daily backups and weekly full backups. And after the local backup has run, it is automatically duplicated to Amazon S3. So everything gets backed up to AWS S3, and we store over 2.7 terabytes of data per week onto Amazon S3. We now pay only for what we use. We don't have to provision the space. We use a dedicated symmetrical 100 megabits fiber connection that we mainly use for the backups. We do maintain 6 weeks of local backups and 2 weeks of backups onto Amazon S3. And we were so pleased with the speed and reliability of Amazon Web Services Cloud that we've expanded into other AWS services, such as Route 53, Lightsail, and CloudFront. Here are some of examples of backups and restore jobs we have done. The first example is a restore from offsite that before will take probably half a day between bringing back the external drives and mounting them and searching for the files that I needed to restore and hoping the drive wouldn't fail. And now I can start the recovery from anywhere and I will get an email telling me that the restore has run successfully. The second example is a virtual machine recovery process from the network attached storage unit. And BackupExec has an option that turns the virtual machine automatically up and running following the restore. The third example is an example of our largest full backup with 605 gigabits that took over 25 hours. During this time, there were other backups being duplicated, so we were not using the full 100 megabits bandwidth. And we do use compression and encryption, but we don't have to verify the backup to Amazon S3, as Amazon S3 automatically checks the data integrity of written data, enabling us to save time and money. We do verify the local backups and have the possibility of restoring a physical server to a VM inside AWS Cloud if needed. And we can also convert any physical machine to a virtual machine during or after the backup using BackupExec. And we can also convert any server to a virtual machine from a point in time from the backups. So just to recap, we are able to save almost 100 hours annually for the management of the backups and the external drives. And we've improved the visibility. Now we can see how the backups are doing only on a single console. We don't have to provision or purchase media in advance. It is a scalable backup solution. We've improved availability and redundancy with AWS. We don't have to worry about drive failing. We've improved the recovery point objective from 7 days to 1 day for offsite backups. And the recovery time objective has been reduced from hours to minutes for offsite restores.
Thank you, Miguel. Thank you for choosing Veritas on AWS. Very impressive results. Thank you, Miko. Q&A time. Let's get to some questions. Miko, the first question is for you. What operating systems are supported on AWS for BackupExec?
Thanks, Sabina. So BackupExec, again, being extremely Windows-centric system, most of our environments are on Microsoft Windows, but we also do support different Linux distros as well. And the full list is available on our compatibility list on our website. But again, all the major Linux distros are also supported, and independent whether they are physical systems or systems running on Elastic Cloud Compute on EC2, you can back those up using the available agents. So the summary answer is it's mainly Windows and Linux platforms, and also applications running on those platforms.
Thank you, Miko. Miguel, the next one is for you. How difficult was it, or how relatively easy was it to set up BackupExec on AWS?
It was pretty easy. We just had to install the BackupExec server and one agent per server we wanted to backup, create an AWS S3 bucket, and configure the BackupExec Cloud Storage connector with the credentials for this bucket. Then we just had to modify a backup job that we already had, or we could have created a new one, so that it will start duplicating to the cloud after the backup to our NAS had completed. So BackupExec has an option to duplicate to a local storage and then duplicate to the cloud. So it is pretty easy.
Thank you, Miguel. Another one for you, Miguel. What is the performance you observed using Amazon S3?
So using Amazon S3 and comparing it to other clouds, the Amazon cloud was the only cloud we could saturate our 100 megabits fiber connection. So we don't have a problem with the performance. It is consistently faster. We use almost all our bandwidth for the backups, and we are actually pleased with the two last versions of BackupExec. Have a new option that increases the performance. We are very pleased with the performance.
Glad, Miguel. Another one for you. I know you talked about this during your presentation, but it would be great for you to amplify the message again and then also expand if you wish. What benefits did you experience moving your backups to AWS using Veritas BackupExec?
So we were able to automate the offsite backup process and reduce the likelihood of not backing up. Because when we use the USB external drives, some weeks we couldn't run the jobs because of scheduling conflicts. So having the backups run automatically to the cloud eliminated that issue. We also have reclaimed almost 100 hours per year, and we've improved on our recovery times. Now we back up everything to the cloud and can recover the data faster. And at most, we lose only half a day of data as we do incremental backups twice a day. And we can also, if the need arises, restore to the cloud itself. So before we couldn't, we had to restore to first buy new servers if we lost our servers, and then we had to install everything and bring back the data from offsite, and it would take much longer. With the cloud, we have the possibility of doing a complete infrastructure on the cloud, and I reckon I can put all the infrastructure for our people to connect to via VPN onto Amazon on a single day, and maybe even half a day. It's a very easy platform to use and configure.
Thank you, Miguel. Miko, I have a question for you. Can a customer back up their Amazon EC2 instances with BackupExec?
Yes, absolutely. So BackupExec again has multiple ways on connecting with different systems and environments. We leverage the APIs if those are available. For example, on VMware side, we have the vStorage APIs for data protection and VSS on Microsoft side. On AWS side, we leverage our agents, which again provide scale as well and options to really choose on what you want to protect, whether it's the entire system or just a subset of the system. And we do everything on one single backup. So from that single backup, you can then choose what level you want to restore on. So again, it's a lot of agility and a lot of flexibility, and absolutely you can protect your EC2 instances with BackupExec.
Thanks, Miko. Another one for you. This is around licensing. Can you expand a little bit as to how BackupExec is licensed on AWS?
Yes, absolutely. Happy to. So The most common, first of all, BackupExec is available on multiple different licensing models, and you can choose what fits the best for your environment. The most common probably is our capacity-based licensing, where you choose just the level you want to have for this different for your environment, whether it's our bronze, silver, or gold level, and with that, we just basically calculate the front-end terabytes, FETB. So we calculate the source side amount of what you're actually protecting, and the license is based on that. It's extremely simple. It's extremely simple also to update and add more storage there if needed. So that's probably the most common one. We also have additional licensing models per server, per hypervisor. But again, this capacity-based licensing is by far the most popular. It's available as a subscription license and also as a perpetual license. So again, whatever meets the customer needs best, you can use that licensing type.
Thanks, Miko. Another one for you. I know you went through very briefly during the presentation about many of the other use cases, right? BackupExec is one of the data protection solutions, and there are also many other use cases and solutions beyond backup and recovery. It will be interesting for you to comment on when customers are looking for backup and recovery solutions, Veritas on AWS, when would they choose BackupExec versus NetBackup?
Yeah, that's a great question. Again, when you have multiple solutions that cover similar use case, not the same exactly, but a similar use case there, it's good to understand the difference between those different solutions. So BackupExec, as we mentioned earlier on this presentation, is geared towards our medium and small environments. It meets the needs of most SMB environments in a good way, and it has a really easy, intuitive user interface that doesn't really require any deep knowledge of the solution itself to get started. Of course, it is really flexible, so there's a lot of configuration options and details you can leverage for optimized solution there. But again, when you look at the scale and performance side, NetBackup is much more powerful from the performance and scale wise. If you need to have again a larger enterprise scale solution, NetBackup is the solution for those enterprise environments. So both solutions are designed to follow the AWS well-architected framework, and both can send data from on-premises to cloud and also protect EC2. And also both solutions support secure and optimized data transfer and integrate with AWS APIs like the Amazon S3. And the difference really is when you're looking at the scale and performance side, if you have high performance requirements, high scale requirements, NetBackup is probably the fit for that one board. But for most other SMB environments, BackupExec is a great fit for that. Yeah, I've already went through the different platforms to support, and yeah, it's basically on scale and performance. That's the easiest way to divide between those two. And as mentioned earlier on, we also do have a solution for cloud native snapshots called CloudPoint. So it's just worth highlighting as well that that's an additional solution, especially if you're looking for snapshot-based protection, for example, in AWS EC2.
Thank you, Miko. Miguel, I have a question for you from the list here. Do you use any other AWS services, and can you share anything with regards to Veritas and AWS that you are using in terms of other services, or you are in the planning stages? As much as you can share.
Okay, so we do use Route 53 for our DNS. We use Lightsail for our future website, and we use Amazon S3 for the backups and for our current website. And for our website, we use CloudFront with Amazon S3. We don't use any more product with Veritas and Amazon. We do have a project to optimize the backup and use deduplication, and instead of retaining just the last 2 weeks on Amazon and just the last 6 weeks on local, we want to expand to several years onto local and at least 1 year on Amazon. And for that, we are contemplating using Glacier as well, but it's very early in the planning.
Thank you, Miguel. Miko, back over to you. What is your advice to customers on how they can get started deploying or testing these solutions?
Yeah, so that's a good question. So, what's the takeaway from this webinar altogether? The easiest way, really, if you want to test out the solution, the combined solution, is you can sign up for AWS and just deploy the latest version of BackupExec from the AWS marketplace. It includes a completely free 60-day trial of BackupExec itself. That doesn't, of course, include any services on AWS side, but from BackupExec side, when you deploy it, it automatically launches a 60-day free trial if you don't enter any license information there. So that's a really easy way to deploy BackupExec in AWS, and then you can see how easy it is to configure the object storage, Amazon S3, for example, as a destination there, try it out, and then choose what you want to do with the solution itself. If you want to try out on premises, BackupExec, I think we're going to have on the last slide some information about that as well, but you can easily download the ISO image and just install. Like Miguel mentioned, it takes maybe 20 minutes for a basic installation there to install BackupExec server, and then just configure that to AWS for as the destination. And you don't even need to have any local backup storage. You can do direct to AWS backups just to try out how the solution works for you, and try out the performance and any other aspects of the solution itself. So that's a quick overview. That's probably the easiest is marketplace, or just go to backupexec.com and just download and try the trial version of BackupExec.
And of course, if you are using a channel partner out there, worldwide, Veritas has many channel partners that you can also connect with, and then also your Veritas team that you may be already working with over the last few years. Well, I think that is the end of the questions. Miguel and Miko, really appreciate you walking us through your journey and also answering the questions. There are some links for additional information that you can go to, and I think Miko just walked us through this too. Please stay on to share your valuable feedback through our survey. Really appreciate you joining this call. Thank you so much for joining this webinar.